Sony finally made the camera that everyone's been begging for, the FX5. 5K open gate, internal raw recording, triple bass ISO, the internet's gone mad for it. And honestly, whilst it deserves the hype, I personally won't be buying one yet. I film weddings almost every weekend and the camera I use is the FX3. I've been using this for years and waiting for an upgrade, and the FX5 just doesn't make sense for me right now. Not never, just not right now. I've got 10 reasons, and if you film weddings, some of these might just save you 5 grand. Alright, let's get into it. Number 1, the FX5 actually doesn't take photos. So no JPEG, no RAWs, not even stills. It has like a button that looks like it can take photos, but it actually doesn't. However, the FX3 does. It's about 12 megapixel. Of course, if you only offer film, like your wedding filmmaker, then that's actually fine. But most of us that are in wedding industries are hybrid shooters, meaning we offer photo and video packages. For a lot of us wedding shooters, this means you can't actually just use one camera. You're gonna have to get another one. And the maths of buying another one might not make sense. Number 2, the body is £4,699 right now. But nobody shoots just weddings with just the body, do they? You're gonna want that 32-bit flow XLR handle. Together, that's like 5.2, not including that new Viewfinder priced at £650. By the time your camera is wedding ready, you're looking to spend over £6,000. I just want you to hold that number in your head for the rest of this video. Number 3, the FX5 runs on brand new batteries. That's the NP SA100s. I've heard it's got like longer run time, dual charger in the box. Generally, this is good news. If you're me with a bag full of NP FZ100 batteries, they've powered every Sony camera I've owned. It's going to be crazy getting like a whole new set of batteries. Like me, when you're doing 12-hour long wedding days, you're going to need a lot of extra batteries, and buying all those batteries is going to be expensive, especially if they're not original. With some cameras, I don't know about you, but with my Sony camera, sometimes I get notifications if I'm using unoriginal batteries, and yeah, like this is why I own quite a few original Sony batteries to avoid like problems. So I can't imagine having to buy so many new Sony batteries for the FX5. That's a whole new system, and it's like starting from zero again. Number 4, and here's one that really got me. That internal raw that everyone's been excited and talking about, it pushes you towards CFexpress Type A cards. Basically, the most expensive memory cards. I don't know if you guys have been tapped into the prices recently on SD cards and storage, but because of all this AI stuff, things are very, very expensive. I actually have a whole video about that dropping soon. This FX3 runs a full wedding day on V90 SD cards I already own. Getting an FX5 is going to cost more, and then cost even more every time you need another SD card. Personally, that sounds expensive to me. Number 5. Now this one actually scared me off completely. Currently the FX5 restarts itself when you change format. So let's say you're shooting RAW to normal Kodak. It reboots. Or you jump from 25 frames to 50 frames. Again, it reboots. A lot of people who reviewed these format changes say it takes about like 10 seconds. To most, 10 seconds doesn't sound like a lot. Unless you're filming weddings like me. That's you missing the confetti shot, the first kiss might be happening, someone's doing something spontaneous on the dance floor. Some will say, why don't you just shoot on 50 frames to everything? The goal is to be an efficient shooter. If we're constantly shooting at 50 frames, we're gonna run out of memory faster. Weddings are one of those things where you can't just tell people, hold on, can we get that shot again? If you've missed a shot, like, you've missed a shot. I'm personally switching frame rates constantly on a wedding day. A camera that goes dark for more than 10 seconds every time that I change the frame rate, that's not an inconvenience. That's a missed moment I can never give back to a couple. Number 6. Some creators have found out that if you pick a higher frame rate, the camera quietly drops out of RAW into like a much weaker compressed format without actually letting you know. Sometimes when you go like to the menu and stuff on the screen, it can report like a confusing resolution. So you think that you're recording in one thing, but you're actually recording in another. Probably one of the biggest concerns for me as a wedding filmmaker. The FX5 can't record every format in every recording mode. On a wedding day, I'm constantly switching between speeds and slow-mo and stuff. And I don't want to be second guessing what format I'm actually recording in. My focus should be the couple, not checking menus to make sure the camera's switched back to the settings I want it to be on. Weddings only happen once. I can't ask the couple to repeat their vows or their first kiss because I realized afterwards I wasn't recording in the format I thought I was. If Sony makes those recording mode changes clearer in the future firmware update, then that's great. Number 7, the FX5 has a lovely viewfinder and a proper XLR audio handle with 32-bit flow. Brilliant. except they attach to the same place on the camera. So physically you can't use them both at the same time. And for weddings, that's not even a choice, is it? Audio wins every time. Vows, speeches, that's half the film. Best thing is not to get the viewfinder for now, otherwise it'll just become something that just stays in your bag. Number 8, the screen and control wheels. Now, even though it's really great that Sony's made their screen much bigger, from 3 inches to 3.5 inches I believe, there's a lot of buttons that I'm used to. Like I don't have to look at these buttons and I can switch from different modes, and that's years of just filming weddings. Now is not the best time in the wedding season to be thinking about where buttons are whilst the bride's walking down the aisle, or what switch to use. Everything's happening all at once and you want to be on point on a wedding day. You want to be attentive, you want to be alert. Number 9, £5,000, and I'm still screwing an ND filter onto the camera at 2 p.m. on a hot day outside filming a ceremony. I really would want that ND filter because I'm still buying all these ND filters for different lenses and it's long. To be fair though, apparently they physically can't make room for an ND filter with how small the body is. Every manufacturer says the same thing and I get it, but it means that the FX5 doesn't help me with my very bright sunny condition problem. I guess it is what it is. Number 10, and the last thing that ties everything together. So some of the FX5's most exciting features aren't actually in the camera yet. From the advert I watched, it can shoot in 240 frames per second at 4K. This is going to come in a future firmware update. Open gate outside RAW is also being worked on. Grabbing stills from video. This is stuff that's all promised that doesn't actually exist yet. Buying today basically means you're paying full price for a camera that it will become, not what it currently is. And here's the thing about waiting. By the time the firmware lands, the Reboots system fixed, all of that stuff, there's going to be so many changes that's going to happen and so many other camera updates. They may even be used FX5s by then. And that's why for me, it's not never, it's just not right now. So no, the FX5 isn't a bad camera. From everything I've seen, it might be one of the best things Sony's made in years. And yeah, there's a version of me maybe next year, off season, that buys one of these cameras. If you're just a wedding filmmaker and you don't do photos, it's a no-brainer. I think you should get it. But if you're a hybrid shooter, I think it's something you'd probably want to consider. The FX5 can wait, but weddings can't. If you want the same settings I use for the FX3, just check the video above and you'll get to see the exact same settings I use when I shoot weddings. In my next video, I'll be talking about the storage situation and why SD cards and the prices have gone mad, and what my current storage solution is and how I go about things. I'll be dropping that soon, and until next time, I'll see you around.